I went to my primary care physician several times, and I went to an orthopedic surgeon, and I had 2 MRIs.
For this?
For my wrist, yes.
Okay. Well, have they been able to find anything in your wrist? I can't hear your answer.
This is the plaintiff, Jennifer Woodward. She says she was walking her dog one day when the defendant's vicious dog bolted out their door and she was attacked and knocked to the ground. She was bleeding from her leg, and her ankle and wrist were injured and swollen as well. She's lost her mobility in her wrist. The defendants never even apologized, and she's suing for every penny of the $5,000 she feels she's owed. These are the defendants, Joanna and Tommy Burgess. Joanna says their 8-year-old left the door open and her 2 small dogs got outside. They don't think there's any way their dogs could knock the plaintiff down because they're too small. Besides, they didn't see any scratches or bleeding on the plaintiff's leg. There's no way they're paying this opportunist $5,000. And they think the judge will see things their way today. They're accused of having vicious propensities.
All parties, please use your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Woodward, you are neighbors, apparently?
We were.
Okay. Who moved? Okay. So you are walking your dog one fine day, which was the 24th of February, and what happens?
I was walking my dog and my neighbor's dog on a dual leash, and I was walking past their house, and one of their dogs, the Bowser, I believe, the bigger dog, came running out of the door, but the other dog, the smaller dog, ran out right after the bigger dog. I scooped up the little dog my neighbor's dog.
That you were walking?
That I was walking under my arm. And I was trying to pull my dog backwards.
What kind of dog is your dog?
Siberian Husky.
And what kind of dogs do you have?
Boston Terriers.
This is them?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so then what happens?
I kept backing up, trying to retreat back to my house or Buster's house. One of the times that he jumped on me, I happened to fall, and I hit the sidewalk.
When you say jumping on you, was the dog making contact with you?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And what happened?
At that point, I was on the ground, and I looked over to see where they were at because they were still barking and growling. And my dog had Bowser pinned to the ground at that point, so he couldn't get away. And I was trying to sit up. And
I'm glad the Husky finally did its job. All right, go ahead.
She's not a protection dog, if you know Huskies. And I was screaming at the top of my lungs the whole time,
so
come
did
get your
someone
dog.
finally come?
Yes.
Who came?
My neighbor, Buster's owner. She was in her backyard closer.
Did the defendants come out?
After Kelly got me off the ground.
Okay, and when they came out, what did they say?
He just stood at the doorway doing nothing. And then she was screaming at her child, "What did you do? What did you do?" And finally—
Who left the door open?
My 8-year-old.
All right.
Finally, Joanna said, "Are you okay?" I said, "No, I'm not. I'm on blood thinners and I'm bleeding. I had a massive heart attack 4 years ago, and
How many years ago?
4. And
Sorry to hear that. You're very young. How old are you?
I'm 46 now.
You had a heart attack pretty young.
Yeah.
Okay. What were your injuries?
I sprained my ankle, my wrist, and it's still swollen to this day. And I had scratches, bruises. The dog's nails went down my leg and scratched me up.
Did you get any stitches?
No. They gave me a shot.
What kind of shot?
Tetanus, I believe, at the hospital.
All right. You're suing for $5,000. I'd like to hear about the pain and suffering that you're suing for, which is $3,700 of your claim. You went to the emergency room, correct?
I went to the emergency room.
What did they tell you was wrong?
That I sprained my ankle, my wrist, and just abrasions, bruises.
Okay.
I went to my primary care physician several times, and I went to an orthopedic surgeon, and I had 2 MRIs.
For this?
For my wrist, yes.
Okay. What, have they been able to find anything in your wrist? I can't hear your answer.
Not yet. I mean, it's just
Not yet.
been swollen.
It happened in, I understand, but has an MRI concluded that there's damage to your wrist?
No.
In fact, it finds no damage, right?
It does not. It's within normal limits, but my wrist has been swollen since that day.
All right. Did she ever come to you and say, you need to pay my medical bills, you need to do this, you need to do that?
No, as a matter of fact, we tried to talk to her on that same day, and she refused.
Did she ever talk to you after that?
No.
Did she ever leave a bill in your mailbox and say, you need to pay this, I'm incurring
The
this?
first thing that we heard from her was that she was filing a lawsuit through our homeowner's insurance after we already had to sell our house because she was harassing my children daily.
How was she
what
harassing
caused-
your children daily?
They felt like they couldn't go outside
Why?
because
That's a feeling they have. How was she doing something wrong? What was she doing?
There were 2 sidewalks directly in front of our house. You can go around 2 different ways in front of our house
What
or
was
not.
she doing?
She was just walking by every day. She called
Okay,
the law
walking
on
by
my,
is her right. What was she
Right.
doing that,
She-
quote, harassed your children?
She called the law on my older child once on Thanksgiving Day, accusing him of doing things that he shouldn't have been doing.
Like what?
Riding a mini bike that he got from his grandpa.
For his birthday.
Yeah.
What was she accusing him of?
Just, it was too loud for her,
She didn't
I
like
guess.
it in the neighborhood.
It was
Okay.
just, so maybe harassment is not the right word. Maybe it's more of the uncomfortable feeling
Pestering.
that my boys just were not comfortable going outside, and we love that house.
You need to be comfortable in your home. And
Yes,
if
ma'am.
that's how it turned out, then make sure your door's locked or have a fence.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you ended up moving. You probably did the right thing because if there's anywhere where you should be comfortable, it should be your own home.
Can
All
I
right.
speak to that, ma'am?
Yeah.
Their child was on their motorbike with that same dog, unleashed, riding it around the block, not stopping at stop signs or yield signs, and I thought that was unsafe.
Okay.
So
I'm sure you did it out of love. Can you tell me, there's the picture. Okay, so you've put a pen on your arm to show that's the swelling, right?
yes,
And you can see swelling there. All right, so were these pictures taken the day of?
none of them were taken the day of.
Okay, so there's some
Those-
scratches here and there's a bruise.
I had a puncture wound like behind my knee. You can't really see, too, but where their nails, his
Well,
nails.
I can see in all these where their nails scratched you. Let me see all of your medical records. I want to have everything that you have in terms of medical records, please. Okay, so the very first time that you go in, they tell you your diagnosis is a contusion. A contusion is a bruise. They examine your wrist that day, normal alignment, no acute fracture. You asked to do several MRIs, but they keep not finding anything. I see your pictures, and I see some swelling on your arm. I see definitely some cuts and stuff. So there are 2 parts to every piece of litigation like the one that you've brought. One is liability. Slam dunk for you. They admit it. The next is damages. I got to make sure that you're not making a bigger deal of this than it is. So I have to determine that you have a real problem, not you just keep going to the doctor and they keep finding nothing. That, clearly you had some swelling, clearly you had some cuts, that's worth something. You're asking for the statutory maximum of $5,000. You filed against the homeowners. What ended up happening with that?
They didn't have coverage for their dogs.
Is that accurate? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Your Honor.
Yeah.
So about 1 year to the date, we got some letters from this law group, threatening letters. Hey, we want $50,000 in damages.
50,000.
50,000.
Wow.
And we got a couple threatening letters 3 times from them. Hey, pay us now, or we're going to take you to court for it.
Yeah. They're called
we-
lawyer letters.
Yeah.
I guess it's upsetting.
It's intimidating because
Sure,
we've
sure.
never been in this situation before. But the insurance company finally sent a letter. They sent a letter back to the law group and said, there's nothing here for you.
Right,
much,
I know,
and
but that
then-
doesn't
and then
mean
it
that she
dropped.
can't sue you. She can still sue
Oh, yeah,
you.
for sure.
See, here's the deal, guys. You're supposed to keep your dogs inside. And if
Yep.
you have 8-year-olds who leave the door open, as 8-year-olds are prone to do, then you should have a fence. And if you don't have a fence, then you get dragged into court if your dogs knock a lady over and or just bark and she falls. Either way,
Yeah.
it's your fault. Now, I agree. I need to make sure that this isn't just, smoke and mirrors.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Who's had an MRI here?
I just had 2 done.
Oh, you had 2 done.
On my hip and on my back.
Okay, well, I'm not Marcus Welby here, but I got a question for you. If somebody goes in and they say I've got a wrist injury, but the MRI doesn't show any kind of a wrist injury, do they really have a wrist injury?
Yes, because I have a hip injury and the MRI did not show it, and I happen to know that pain is real.
Who knew somebody was going to be in the middle like this? What do you say?
I would say yes, you could have it.
Okay, I don't care what you say. What I care about is your dog. What I care about is your dog. This is a cute dog. This is a super cute dog. Look at this. What kind of dog?
It's a French bulldog, 2 months old. Name is Ziggy.
Oh, this dog is so adorable.
He's on his best behavior right now for you.
What does he do otherwise?
Bite.
Oh, great. Oh, good. You're going to have a lot of lawsuits. You're going to end up in the People's Court someday, going inside the courtroom.
May I ask you, if what you wanted was to get your medicals covered, how come you never submitted a bill to them before a lawyer asked them for 50 grand?
Because when I tried to talk to Joanna the day she came over, she would not listen. She got very defensive, and I said, well, I'll just let animal control handle it because I didn't
What
want
ended up happening with animal control?
They cited us for off the leash and
Vicious animal.
for one of our dogs, even though it wasn't.
Did you have to pay a fine?
Yes, ma'am.
How much?
It was right at
Nine.
$1,800.
Yeah.
$1,800?
I'm pretty sure, yes, ma'am.
Wow, where are you from? Hillsborough County, Florida.
Yes,
Go,
ma'am.
go
It's pretty
Hillsborough.
expensive.
They're not playing.
Yeah, they're not playing.
Yep.
They shouldn't play. All right, guys, I've heard enough. Look, it's your fault that this happened. It's your fault that you have a problem with the neighbor. It's your fault that you felt the need to put your house you loved for sale. It's your fault that you had to move. It's your fault that, stuff happens. An 8-year-old can do what they do, but you understand what fault means. You may not have intended it. It still is your negligence or your household's negligence. Mercifully, this is not a case where there was some vicious, attack where somebody had 30 stitches. I get it, okay? And I also get that I am seeing a situation where repeatedly, there are doctors, including not just the physicians at the emergency room, but your own doctor saying, we can't find evidence of what she's complaining about. Now, you said I still have swelling. Can you show me swelling?
Can I come up?
Yeah, can you come forward and just stand like a foot away from here?
See this?
Okay, I don't know. Would it be normal for a person to have swelling 2 years later when they file a lawsuit? I don't know.
That's how long it's been. That's why I had 2 MRIs.
Right, and then they can't find anything. Go ahead and go back. All right, I find that you folks are at fault, and I am awarding the defendant not $50,000, not $5,000. I am awarding her for her pain and suffering and scratches and bruises $1,000. That is my verdict. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Well, the judge decides to give the plaintiff only $1,000. She was seeking $5,000. She asked you for $50,000.
Yes.
Your insurance company, anyway.
Yes.
But you had to move,
We did.
basically because of all of this.
We
right?
did. We felt we had to.
I mean, that's a lot to go through.
Yeah, you're right.
So what happened? You moved? New home?
We're working on it. We're
Oh, you haven't
working on
moved
it.
yet?
We have moved. We are just waiting for a new home to be built.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to do anything to make sure something like this doesn't happen at your new home?
Well, you do everything that you think you know to do until something like this happens, and then you realize you haven't covered all the bases.
But you still love the dogs.
Of course.
Still love the pups.
Of course. They're our family.
I understand. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you. Thank
you.
Sorry you went through all of this. Ms. Woodward, you must not be feeling too happy with the judge's decision.
Oh, I'm happy.
You are?
Yes. I feel that they should owe me more, but I'm happy that I won.
Well, you won. I mean, no question you were going to win, but you wanted $5,000. The judge just ordered you $1,000.
I mean,
what it is. It's what it
Yeah.
is. Do you feel at all bad that they had to move?
They didn't move because of me.
They said they did.
Well, they're liars.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very good. Harvey?
Doug, you need to have some kind of injury to get pain and suffering. She had scratches. That was enough for the judge to award it. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Russell Coleman. He says he's a private chef and he was redoing his kitchen cabinets. So he hired the defendant, who he's come to find doesn't know how to measure. That's right. The cabinets came in too small. They didn't fit right. And he's very unhappy. He didn't get what he paid for and is suing, therefore, for the return of his $2,500. This is the defendant, Kenny. He says the plaintiff got exactly what he ordered. But once things came in, he didn't like one of the cabinets because it had a door on it. The guy came into his showroom in a fit of rage. He thinks he was high on some kind of drugs or something. And after the way he carried on, he didn't want to work for him anymore. He has no idea why. He's suing him for some money back because his kitchen is installed and he's using it. He's accused of letting things get too hot. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,041 for all he's out.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff is a private chef and hired the defendant to redo his kitchen. Says the guy got the measurements of the cabinets all wrong. But the defendant says the plaintiff seemed high on drugs and outraged over a cosmetic issue he's responsible for. It's the case of you take me for granted.
Thank you, Douglas. Mr. Coleman,
Yes,
you are a professional caterer?
Yes.
All right. And you were redoing your kitchen? You hired the defendant to redo your kitchen, correct?
Yes.
Now, he was just going to build the cabinets. Somebody else was doing the installation. Is that right?
Right.
All right. What was the problem? You were suing to get $2,500 back of the, what's the total you paid him?
33.29.
And you want $2,500 back?
Yes.
So that you would just pay $800 for all the cabinets? That's what.
For the ones that were correct.
Okay.
Because
according to you, he did a bad job. All right. How did he do a bad job?
Okay, Your Honor, I ordered my kitchen to be on this format right here. I gave him this format because I just came back from Paris
Okay.
a couple weeks prior because I had heart surgery, and I was looking.
Did you say you had heart surgery?
Yes, I had heart surgery.
In Paris?
No, in New York.
Oh, okay.
And then I went to recover in Paris.
Oh, good for you. Everyone should recover in Paris. All right, go on.
So what happened was I was looking through some magazines, and I seen how they did the cabinets where it would be 36-inch cabinets, and then on top of that it would be lighting boxes, so you can display all your all-clad, all of your Lacoste pots. Okay, and I also wanted a waterfall countertop with 2 stools. Okay, and an opening cabinet underneath, so I can store my KitchenAid mixers. I have 2 of them, a red one and a gray one. Now
Okay.
you see how they set all that up in the floor plan.
So first the cabinets come in and they're the wrong color.
It was the wrong color. He got that delivered.
Then he says, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, let me get you the right color. Then you hire somebody to install them, and when he installs them, you realize there's an 8-inch gap.
Yes.
And you say he mismeasured. Okay, go on.
So now, here's the pictures of my original kitchen. Now, if you see on that far corner on this side,
Yep.
okay, there's a pre-existing gas line.
Okay.
It's a box. I cannot cover that,
Okay.
okay, because of fire code.
Okay.
So when I ordered my new countertops, and it was 72 inches from the microwave to the existing knockout on the wall.
Yes.
Okay? They came and measured twice.
Okay.
He left an 8-inch gap.
Do you go out there and take a look at it?
Yes.
And was there an 8-inch gap?
That was a gap. That was his choice to have a gap in there.
Why would anybody want a gap?
Because he took the one cabinet out. The last cabinet was covering the pipes. He
Okay,
said,
so
"I don't
when
want
you
this."
measured, you were going to cover the gas pipe?
Cut the back of the cabinets and then put them in there. That was originally. When he said, I don't want this cabinet anymore.
The cabinet that would have reached to the end.
Yesterday, he said, I don't want that one.
Okay.
It doesn't work for me. I said, okay, fine.
So it's not a matter of mismeasuring, it's a matter of not putting the last cabinet. So tell me what else you are complaining about that should entitle you to get back 70% of the cabinet.
Okay, all right, this picture here,
What does that picture show?
that's the garbage can door. Do you see how it looks?
The bottom one?
You see how the white is showing it's not aligned? It's not aligned.
But
When
he
I
didn't
mentioned
install the
before-
cabinets. Do you install cabinets too?
No.
Never. It's always a bad idea to have too many cooks in the kitchen.
Okay.
You know? Because when you have a bunch of cooks in the kitchen,
Okay, that's one
watch
side of it.
this.
Hold on.
Excuse
The
me,
other-
do you hear me talking?
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
So how do you protect yourself to make sure you get what you want when you order kitchen cabinets? What do you say?
I would say you have to stay on top of your contractors for sure. They might hit you for it, but it's your money, you're paying for it. So
What else do you do other than staying on top of the contractors? Because, you know, they're going to say, oh, well, you didn't order this cabinet, you ordered this type of cabinet.
You hold back the money until they do the job right.
What do you give them to make sure the job gets done right?
What do a direction?
And how do you give them direction?
A written contract. Yeah, written contract.
I'm never going to get it out of them. I'll tell you later. Going inside the courtroom.
When you have too many cooks in the kitchen, watch this. He says this doesn't close all the way, it's not aligned, or the sides are showing too much. What's your answer to that?
Contractor should adjust that.
Okay. Of course it is. These come from a factory. The problem is not the actual cabinet, it's the person who installed it, is his position. Now, so you've got two people going like this. All right, go on.
Okay, and then on this one here, I paid for the $138 for the wall that goes from the ceiling to the side of the refrigerator. Take a look at that. Where does it stop?
Okay, I'm going to send that over to you. That panel is supposed to reach the end of the refrigerator, not the middle of the refrigerator. Why is that panel hanging up in the air like that?
The panel comes a standard size 96 inches. Every manufacturer making 96 inches high.
Yeah, but you knew the measurement of his refrigerator.
Nope.
Yeah,
I
it's the
didn't-
same refrigerator. He didn't get a new. Did you get a new
No, we
refrigerator?
did not measure. That's the contractor supposed to tell us.
No. You're the guys who ordered the piece.
Okay, that's the only way it comes. 96 inches. There's no other way
Well,
it
then
comes.
don't sell it to him. Do you
had to
have
look
the
at that.
itemized list of everything he paid for?
Yes.
May I see it? What else are you?
Okay,
Not paying for it.
Your Honor, you see on the original plan that I gave you, that underneath
that's
the
it.
waterfall cabinet, this was the cabinet that was supposed to be open box, like that cabinet's on top of all my other cabinets.
Okay.
Because I was
And
supposed to,
instead, it came with doors.
he gave me something
Did you
with doors
tell
and
him to
drawers that
know-
I can't use. I have a 10-inch overlay so you can see the school.
Okay, so did you return it?
It's-
Why did you get it installed if that's not?
Because
what...
when I turned around and told him, oh, this costs more money, you have to pay more and more. Like,
Okay,
if you
well then
see-
why did you install it? Why didn't you just say no? I'm not paying for this. Take this back.
Because at this point, Your Honor, I had a heart attack.
I know, but
I
you're
was just
telling.
ready to
Okay,
have my
but if it's
kitchen
good
done.
enough for you, it's hard for you to come to court and say, "Give me back 75% of what I paid." Why do you install it if it's wrong? Give him a chance to correct it and say, "Return this
Because
and
every
give me
time
what
I
I
try to correct
ordered."
it, they turn around telling me I'm changing stuff.
That's not you changing stuff. According to you, you ordered, or is it? Are you saying that would be a change because that's not what he
That's
ordered?
what he was telling me.
Stop. What did he order?
Closed box. He didn't mention it at the time. Yeah.
Okay. 3 base cabinets, 18. Okay, I got you. 27-inch island base cabinets. Okay. It doesn't say whether it has doors, doesn't have doors. Why did you send him one that had doors?
Because that was the standard. He didn't ask at the time. He did not say he wanted an open cabinet.
Okay. Why did you end up installing that cabinet?
Because they brought this cabinet at the last day of delivery.
Okay, they bring it before your installer installs it. Why don't you say, no, get me the one that I asked for? Because when you don't do that, his position is, well, he didn't even ask for that. He asked for a regular one. And you end up accepting it and installing it. So it sounds like you might be making this up now at the end.
No,
But
ma'am.
you see why it might look that way,
I understand
right?
that.
So why would you let your guy install the wrong cabinet and then complain later you want your money back? Why don't you just make them give them back the wrong cabinet? They can get a refund, right? And then they can order you the one that you want.
Okay.
You deprive them of the opportunity of correcting that one by installing it. So
Okay.
I can't let you complain about it now.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. So what else is wrong?
Okay, on this here. Mm-hmm. Okay, they came out 2 times and measured for this,
Mm-hmm.
right? The first time we tried to install it, it was wrong. Sizes was totally wrong. It's 79 inches across, okay? we had to disassemble it. If you see in this picture here, we disassembled it and put it back together and had to drill a hole in the side of it to go over that gas line that I was telling you about. You see in the corner where the gas line is?
Yes.
We had to cut a hole in the cabinet to fit the cabinet in and take the cabinet apart to put it back together because they mismeasured.
Why was this installed this way? Why are there these gaps? Maybe he mismeasured a little.
Yes.
Don't get so excited. You're still greedy as can be on them. And you're still totally in the wrong for installing stuff instead of giving them a chance to return it and order the right stuff. All right. You know what the problem is? The problem is you had one guy manufacturing and one guy installing, and apparently these people aren't communicating. And so your guy starts to install as he goes along, doing what he thinks he can do, and then you expect everything to fit. They sold you a puzzle, and then someone else put it together, and you're complaining about the way it looks, but they're not the ones who put the puzzle together. What did this man pay for the side wood?
$138. That was my cost. And then he gave free handles too to him. As a
You gave what?
free handles, cabinet handles, no charge.
Yeah, I know. That's part of your counterclaim against him. Everything you gave him for free, you now want to charge.
Well,
Yes.
This point, you bring me
Yeah, but
here.
that's not how life works. It's like what you get to
the
sue
problem.
on in court is a contract, an obligation, not, I was nice to him, now I wish I wasn't, so I want my handles back. All right, I'm going to order the return of the $138 because you shouldn't even have sold him that because it's so offensive. On your counterclaim against him for $1,041 of freebies that you're now angry that you got sued, no. He has no legal obligation to pay you for things that you ended up giving him, throwing in. That's my verdict. Verdict for the plaintiff in the amount of the $138 plus tax. Good luck, folks.
Well, neither side's going to be happy with the outcome of this case. You lost your countersuit. She threw that out, in effect.
I'm very happy with the decision.
You are?
Yes, very good.
Okay, so you only got $138.
That's
You're
it.
going to pay him.
Yeah.
It's a lot less than $2,500.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think everything was done right from your perspective? from
Yeah,
what
we
you
did everything right.
Okay.
He's the one, he make it up, all of them.
All right. Very good.
Wrong.
Thank you very much, sir. Good
Yeah.
luck.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
You
you
must
very
sign a few documents on your way out of the courtroom?
Okay.
Okay? All right, Mr. Coleman. I know you're not very happy with the outcome. $138, that's not much.
No, it's
compared to
not
the
much,
$2,500
but-
you wanted.
What I'm saying to you was it was the principle and the understanding that when I ordered something from him,
Yeah.
I was expecting to get what I ordered. That's not the case.
The judge
He
said
didn't
you
measure.
should have looked at this before
Yes,
you had it
no,
installed.
but I should.
You should have had it your
I should-
installer here.
I should have my installer.
You really should.
That's
Yeah.
what I
That's
should
your
have done.
problem. Okay.
That's my problem.
All right, you've
I
learned a
learned from
lesson the
my
hard way.
mistake.
Okay, very good.
But thank you.
Thank you very much. Harvey?
Okay, so what I was trying to get from them is you get photos of the exact type of cabinet that you want, the exact type of cabinet you want, with obviously the measurements and the schematics. More specific, the better. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Frederick Nevins. He says he bought a Boston whaler boat from the defendant, and the guy pawned the thing off on him with a cracked engine. That's right. He didn't tell him the boat was defective. He royally ripped him off, and he's here suing for what's right. And that's the $3,756.86 that he is owed. This is the defendant, Barry. He says he ran the engine on the boat for the plaintiff and everything worked fine, so the guy bought it. Now, a year later after the winter, he sues him, claiming he sold him a defective boat? Ha! Come on, buddy. The boat's 44 years old. He doesn't know what he did to it after he sold it to him. And he thinks this lawsuit's gonna sink today with the judge, and he will come out the victor. He's accused of taking advantage of a landlubber.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff bought a Boston whaler boat from the defendant. It was totally defective, but the defendant says the guy's complaining a year later. It's the case of that boat don't float.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Nevins, you're suing, you've asked us to refer to you only by your first name, Barry, who brought his fraternity with him, for $3,756.86 that you want reimbursed to you because, according to you, he sold you a lemon of a boat. Tell me what happened.
On September 16th, 2018, I purchased a boat, a Boston Whaler, 13-foot, with a 25 horsepower, 4-stroke engine on the boat.
How old was the hull itself?
The boat is from 1974.
Okay.
And the
engine was from where?
2002.
And how much did you pay?
I paid $3,300.
Okay. Did you test drive it or in any way run it in order to see what you were buying was something that you wanted to buy?
I didn't test drive the boat, but the boat was on a trailer, and he started the engine for me.
Okay. And have you purchased boats in the past?
I have.
How many?
Maybe a half a dozen, 6,
Okay.
8.
And
boats.
so have you in the past bought boats in this fashion where you hear the motor running and then you know that it's good and et cetera, et cetera?
Yes.
Okay. So you end up buying it, and what do you do with it when you take it off his property?
I brought it and trailered it to my house and put it in the driveway, stored it in the driveway.
How long was it in the driveway?
About 2 days.
Then the next thing that happens, you take it to the marina and you get it winterized, right?
I took it to the marina, yes.
So you didn't test drive it then either?
No.
Okay. So then you winterize a boat, and then the following summer,
Yes.
you finally put it on the water when?
And about the second week of July.
Okay. How'd it go?
After about an hour of using the boat, the motor started to sputter and stop. And then
The very first time you used it?
Yes.
Okay, because in your complaint, what you said is I
Or the
used it
second
once or
time.
twice.
It might have been the second
for
time.
maybe an hour or two.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, oil started pouring out of the engine. So what day did oil start pouring out of the engine?
I would
Was
say
it in July? Was it in August?
It was in July.
All right. So what'd you do?
I had to get the boat back on the trailer. I had to put the boat and the trailer on a ferry with the car. I had to go over to the mainland and leave the boat at a Mercury dealer, which
Did they
was the
finally
engine.
tell you what they thought was wrong with it?
Yes.
And what day did they put in writing what they thought was wrong with it?
Yes, they said that tested under a load, they found that the oil came through the carburetor.
Okay, can
When
I
it-
see that? Hand it to my bailiff. Thank you, sir. So the mechanic looks at it. It looks like he took it in on the 23rd and gave the opinion on the 30th. Oil's leaking from the top of the cavitation plate. Repair is needed. We also found the wrong fuel filter was installed. Engine had no oil in it. So we launched and tested under a load. What does that mean, under a load?
It means in the water.
In the water.
With pressure
And
on the
found
motor.
that the oil comes out through the carburetor when running under a load. Not worth repairing. Okay. So you find all this out July 30th, and you purchased the boat the prior September.
Yes.
And you've had the boat in your possession since that September to July. Did you sell him a lousy boat that had this problem? Did you know about this problem?
When that boat left my driveway, it was running fine. I never had any problems with it.
Do you have the paperwork from the sale?
The sale from
Is
me
there
to him?
paperwork from the
Yes,
sale?
I have
Yeah.
a bill of sale.
Yeah, yeah.
And he did not pay $3,300 for the boat. He paid $3,000 for the
Okay.
boat. And I have a bill of sale.
The people who you brought here today, are they here for happy hour or are they witnesses? Are they moral support or witnesses?
They have FOMO, Your Honor.
They have FOMO?
Yes.
So they had to come because
had
you
to
were
co- they
coming?
just
They
had to
just
come.
literally couldn't let you have your moment. They had to all join you. Okay. Is this the bill of sale for your boat?
I have the, I believe I have the same bill of sale, and I have $3,300.
Let me see your bill of sale. I'm curious to get to the bottom of that little issue.
I believe, Your Honor, the sale price was left blank, and he left it with me as blank, and I put in the price that I remembered paying for it.
Why would you leave it blank?
Well, I sold him
So
the
he can
boat.
cheat the
I
tax
sold
man?
him, pardon me?
So he can cheat the tax man?
Not me.
Well, no, but why
I was the seller.
facilitate? You makes you an accessory. Why wouldn't you just write? A bill of sale implies that you are recording the sale. If you don't write the price, what's the point of the bill of sale?
So who has a boat around here?
I do. I live on a sailboat, a 38-foot sailboat.
So tell me why boats are so expensive, why they break so easy.
They're in the marine environment, the water, the salt water. the condensation, the metal.
Oh, that's so cool. You live in a boat.
Yeah,
I love that.
13 years on a sailboat.
Wow. Cramped?
No, my husband and I love it a lot.
Oh, I love that too. Going inside the courtroom.
In any event, the one thing that is the same in both of them are the words as is. Okay? So what did you think the words as is means? I mean, you've been around the block. Tell me what you thought that meant.
I told the defendant when I was buying the boat my situation.
What was your situation?
My situation was that I was using the boat as what's called a tender or a dinghy.
So that boat was to get you to a bigger boat that you also have.
Yes.
Right, okay.
And I told him that I would not be using the boat, that I'm trusting him and that.
Oh, I don't care what you told him. I'm asking you what you think the words. Listen to me. I'm asking you about your conduct, not his. I'm asking you what you thought the words as is meant.
Excellent condition.
As is means excellent condition?
Yes, because I have a piece of paper that was the sale, that was the advertisement.
Okay. So
and it says,
I'm going to explain to you what as is means after I see the
condition is excellent.
Okay. What do you think is the legal effect of the words as is? Nothing?
Well, what I thought was as is meant in the condition that he told me that it was in.
Okay, let me explain to you what it means. As is means that you can't come crying later. It means buyer beware. It means you better make sure you really want it because I'm not giving you a warranty. He's not a dealership. He's a private party selling something. By default, even if those words hadn't been there, by default, the sale is as is. But it's even more so when it says as is. It makes it even more difficult for you to come in here and sue for even more than you paid for the boat. It makes it very difficult. But I'll tell you what else makes your case very difficult. You had the boat October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, 10 months. And 10 months later, you are coming to talk about something and claiming that it was there 10 months ago. How on earth are you going to prove that in this courtroom? According to your own statement, you had used the boat once or twice. How do we know that whatever you did didn't break whatever is the problem now? How is it that you can possibly think that you're going to be able to prove that he sold it to you knowing it had a defect, lied to you, covered it up, and or that the defect even existed in September?
Well, I did not use the boat.
Well, why did you say you used it once or twice?
When I got it to the island that I was staying on, that day, I put it in the water. I used it once or twice. There seemed to be a problem with the engine.
Mr. Nevins,
yes.
You purchased an as-is boat, okay? With a, how old was that motor?
Motor was 2002, so it was 16 years
Okay,
old.
almost old enough to vote, all right? And you're a savvy boat purchaser. It's not like you just fell off a turnip truck and it's your first boat because you were so, not that the law would be different if it were, but you are someone who bought this to be a tender to a bigger boat that you also own. You've bought half a dozen boats. You know what as is means. And you know that what you should have done is at a minimum, when you got it to the marina to test drive it there, figure out if there's anything, have a mechanic take a look at it. But even then would be too late. The time to have a mechanic take a look at a boat is before you buy the boat. But nobody wants to pay the mechanic $100 to have him take a look at the boat, only my husband. Okay? So honestly, there's a meaning to as is. There is a legal ramification to it. And you are not an exception to the legal ramification. The laws aren't different for you than they are for everybody else who buys in an as-is sale. As-is means exactly what we both know it means. It means that you can't come the day later and complain, much less 10 months later. Verdict for the defendant.
Well, here comes Mr. Nevins. Mr. Nevins, I must admit, I feel sorry for you.
Thank you very much.
I'm surprised you didn't know what as-is means, but I think you just got a legal definition. What do you think?
Well, I did get a legal definition.
You know, it doesn't matter what you want to show me.
Yes.
The law says you're dead in the water.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Well, I feel that what was told to me by the seller, I took as his word, and I do believe that the engine was defective, and it did say on the advertisement that it was in excellent condition.
But you bought it as is. You read those words on the contract.
Well, I thought as is meant in excellent condition.
You got to go back and read the dictionary, okay?
Yes.
Look it up.
Right.
I'm sorry you learned a tough lesson there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Barry and the Happy Hour gang, if you want to come on out. Why'd you bring all these guys to court with you?
They're like my service dogs.
Your service dogs. You should appreciate that.
He told us we were going to go play golf.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, you're going to golf after this. You're not surprised the outcome, are you?
I'm not. I mean,
Do you feel bad for him, though?
I feel bad for him. I sold him a good boat and a good motor. And, you know, had he called me in May, June even,
Yeah.
I would have talked to him about it. But he never called me, never said a word. Next thing I know, I'm getting a summons in court. So,
All right. Okay.
it is what it is.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Have a good golf game, guys. Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, take care now.
Jeez. Harvey, what do you think?
Hey, Doug, a boat's just like a car. Have it checked out by a mechanic before you buy it.